For this example, we're going to do an applications of systems. The problem says, Frank took a test and quiz in algebra last week. He had 6 questions correct on the quiz and 10 questions correct on the test, for a weekly total score of 98 points. Sarah took the same test and quiz. She had 5 questions correct on the quiz and 8 questions correct on the test, for a weekly total of 79 points. How many points were the quiz and test questions each worth? To do this, I'm going to call Q the quiz points and T test points, since those are what we're trying to find. Now I'm going to make 2 equations, one for Frank's scenario and the other for Sarah's scenario. Now for Frank, it says he had 6 questions correct on the quiz. So that would be 6Q, because it would be 6 times the amount that the quiz questions were worth. And plus 10 questions correct on the test. So that would be 10T, for a weekly total score of 98 points. So all together, when you add these together, you get 98. Now, for Sarah's scenario, she took the same test and quiz. So she had 5 questions correct on the quiz. So 5Q. And 8 questions correct on the test. So plus 8T equals a total score of 79. Now we have to figure out how many points the quiz was worth and how many points the test questions were worth. In order to do that, we can either use substitution or elimination, but because this is already set up in ax plus by form, I'm going to use elimination. To do elimination, we have to either cancel out the q's or the t's. I always choose the one that just looks easier. The q's look a little bit easier because the numbers are smaller. So in order to cancel out the q's, we could use the least common multiple of 6 and 5, which is 30. And we could multiply the top by 5 in order to get 30, and multiply the bottom by 6 in order to get 30. But we have to remember that one of them has to be negative. It doesn't matter which one you make negative, I'm just going to make the bottom one negative. So if we do 5 times 6, we get 30Q. 5 times 10 is 50T, equals 5 times 98, which is 490. Now we can do negative 6 times 5 is negative 30Q, and negative 6 times 8 is negative 48T, equals negative 6 times 79 is negative 474. Now I'm going to add those 2 equations together. 30Q minus 30Q will just cancel out. 50T minus 48T gives us 2T, and 490 minus 474 gives us 16. Now to isolate T, you just have to divide by 2. So test questions are all worth 8 points. Now to solve for Q, our quiz questions, we can use either one of these equations and just plug in T as 8. So it doesn't matter which one you use, I'm going to use the bottom one. 5Q plus 8, our T is 8, equals 79. Now 5Q plus 8 times 8 is 64, equals 79. We can subtract 64 from both sides, and this becomes 5Q equals 15. We can divide by 5. Q equals 3. So quiz questions are all worth 3 points. Now let's write it in a complete sentence. The question asks how many points were the quiz and test questions each worth. So you can say the test questions are worth 8 points each. And quiz questions are worth 3 points each. And that will be our final answer.